What's up, Juggalos? Wicked Clown Reviews here, and I'm going to be reviewing every single EP and LP released by Psychopathic Records in chronological order. Up next, we've got Inner City Posse's Dog Beats. Dog Beats is an incredibly important album in ICP's discography because this. Where do I even begin? It's the first time ICP actually worked in a studio rather than just, holding a karaoke machine up to a microphone and singing into it. It was the first time they started practicing clownism and thinking clowny thoughts. The themes of the album started to mold into their persona of like the ghetto coming back to take revenge on rich people. And not only that, but one thing you can see up in the corner, there's a little very early partial Carnival of Carnage on the front cover. So, with Dog Beats, things are really starting to take shape, but they are still not yet the Insane Clown Posse. This would be their final album as Inner City Posse. So, Dog Beats was originally released on cassette in 1991, and for a long time it was only available on cassette, and they reprinted it probably, I think, 6 times. And this CD was finally made available at the Gathering of the Juggalos in 2000, the very first gathering. So, for a long time, I've been collecting CDs for almost 20 years. And when I started, Dog Beats was one of the more difficult to find expensive CDs. They normally went for about $100. Nowadays, you can get them a lot cheaper. It's one of the few ICP albums that's actually decreased in value, oddly enough. Now it goes for about $40, maybe a little more if it's in really excellent condition. And so at the Gathering initially, it was released, and there are actually technically 3 different versions. I have 2 of them right here. And so they're almost identical. The only way to tell really is to check the disc matrix numbers. 2 different copies are, say, www.go-qca.com, and I'm guessing that's the company that pressed them. And this one just has a standard matrix number. And I'm pretty sure what happened is they had a high demand and needed to reach out to another company to print them. So while there are 3 different pressings, they were all released on the same day at once. And I don't have the other QCA to compare, but I do think that the non-QCA pressing is slightly better. The color looks a little more normal. You can see here on the skin tone, it's just a little red. And this one, it just looks much more like a normal skin tone and not like the reds are blown out. And the fine detail is a little bit better on the non-QCA pressings, especially when you look back here, you can really see some of the detail. But either way, they both look better than the original cassettes. But if you really are just going to get one version and want the best possible release, look for the one that doesn't say QCA on it. And, how you would check that is the disc matrix underneath. It's hard to see, but yeah. Look it up on Discogs, you'll find out more. So, Dog Beats as an album, what's interesting about this is there's only 4 tracks on it, and yet within these 4 tracks, ICP completely defines themselves for the future. I mean, Ghetto Zone right off the bat is, a hard-hitting kind of gangster rap song that sums up their motivation for their whole persona of murder and kind of the morals behind their lyrics and what they do. Wizard of the Hood is a fun, ridiculous, story-driven narrative where they're just it's just a fun, silly, cool song. Life at Risk is that slow, hard-hitting track that kind of reflects on life and kind of existential dread. And then Dog Beats is just the, dope juggalo jams, where with multiple members all going back and forth. And it's just, it's like I said, it's a short album, but they accomplish everything that they would do in the future in these 4 songs. And they're all great. The album was produced by Chuck Miller, who, if you read Behind the Paint, Violent J, looks back on very negatively. He feels like that Chuck Miller wasted a lot of their time to just rack up the bill in the studio because he was taking advantage of their lack of knowledge. And, it's hard to say if that's true or if maybe Violent J was just impatient, because when you read Behind the Paint, it sounds like he's just impatient as fuck. And I made music before, and if you rush it, it doesn't go well. So, maybe he was wasting their time. Maybe he was just trying to craft the beats and actually trying to get their perspective on it. Who knows? But regardless, Chuck Miller slayed it. They sound old school. They sound 90s as fuck, but they're all really good. Maybe the bass is mixed a little too high. But overall, it's great. For some reason, I would avoid the Spotify version because, for these reviews, I always try to listen to the album right before I do the video. And I listen to headphones too, so I have no distractions. But when I got to Dog Beats, I noticed on Spotify they cut the opening skit, and I was really disappointed. And so I went back and I put the CD in my car to listen to. And it's just the only complaint I have about the mixing is the bass is maybe a little too high. But yeah, I would listen to this on YouTube instead of Spotify if you're just going for digital versions. Dog Beats later on in 2017 was re-released with the Fat Ronnie cover. So this is the alternative cover that they almost used for Dog Beats, but decided to go for this one. So to the untrained eye, you may think this is Jay and this is Shaggy. No, this is Ronnie, and this is a friend of theirs named Don. So it's Ron and Don. It is not Jay and Shaggy. But the Fat Ronnie cover, I think this is part of the reason why Dog Beats has gone down in value over the years, is because there's now a cheap alternative. I think you can still get these on Psychopathic Vault for $10. The back cover is a bit redone, much cooler, alternative Carnival of Carnage artwork here. And it also has a bonus track, Ask You Something. So Ask You Something was actually recorded during the Carnival of Carnage days, and it's kind of a lost ICP track of sorts. It's very hard to find. Not lost isn't the right word, but it's a hard to find ICP track. But it fits on Dog Beats. The mastering is not nearly as good. I mean, the moment it goes from Dog Beats to Ask You Something, it gets about half as quiet. But I compared the 2 CDs just to see if there's really any audio difference. And there's not, as far as I can tell. Maybe if you were to analyze the audio with a program, you'd be able to see some type of difference. But it's just, to my ear, CD to CD, they both sounded exactly the same. So, if you want to save some money and don't care about the cover, you prefer the Fat Ronnie cover, it is a great alternative. So, let's take a look at the inside booklet. So the interesting thing is the ICP members are listed as Violent J and Too Dope in this. In the original cassette version, John Kick Chaz and Greasy were also listed as members. And then eventually, I think by the 3rd reprint, they took their names off because they had already quit ICP. And, it's fair because really Violent J is the only one who's on every track. And John Kick Chaz has he's on one song, and I don't even know if Greasy's on this. I don't know why Greasy's listed. Maybe he does some of the vocals. There's a few like spoken word elements, so that could be Greasy. I'm not totally sure. Let me know in the comments if you know where Greasy pops up on this album. But I think, considering that John Kick Jazz left, his contribution is considered more of like a feature on here. And yeah, the album hypes up the release of Gangster Codes, which did not come out. That became Carnival of Carnage. So the Fat Ronnie cover has slightly different credits, and I think these were maybe the original draft of the credits. The most interesting thing for me is right here, the ICP members, they put John Kickjazz's name back in, but here it says Kid Villain. And I had no idea who Kid Villain was. I Googled it, and he apparently does the skit on this album. And yeah, I guess they decided to credit him retroactively, which is cool. Apparently he's passed away. CD design is a little different, and they got the super old school Hatchet Man on here before it was redesigned, which I love. And then on the spine, you've got a little row of Hatchet Man running. Well, my camera's not going to cooperate, but yeah, they're running in that line. The spines here too, they're slightly different. This one is yellowed just because of the pressing itself, but you can see that the other one is still more white. So yeah, that is. Oh, I think the only other important thing to say too is Shaggy finally raps on this one on Dog Beats, and you know, I speculate that the title track of Dog Beats, I think they intended that to be a single, because if you notice, the song has no cussing on it, and the two moments where they do cuss, they cut it back and then put like an ooh over it, which is kind of like a fun form of censorship, and you know what they're saying, and so, you know, if you rap along, just say it. But I think their intention was to put Dog Beats on the radio, and that didn't happen for whatever reason. So yeah, let me know what you thought of Dog Beats. I highly recommend this one. This is really the first genuinely good release from ICP. The Intelligence and Violence and Basement Cuts, those are for the hardcore fans that need to hear everything. Dog Beats is fantastic. It is a fantastic album. Great early 90s rap. So, yeah. Up next, we're going to be getting into Carnival of Carnage. The Dark Carnival finally begins, and the Insane Clown Posse is formed. All right, whoop whoop juggalos.